Was it worth building my own AR-15? That's what we're going to answer today. Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel. Well, I built my own AR-15 and there is the good, the bad, and the ugly to this build. And at the end of the video, if anybody has built an AR-15, if you could comment down in the comments as to what you think I should do to help this one out, I certainly would appreciate it. But before I answer whether it was worth it, let's go over the good, bad, and the ugly. First, the good. The good with building your own AR-15 is that if you know what you're looking for, you can put it on your rifle. So if you haven't shot an AR-15, you may not know exactly what parts you want on your rifle. I've been shooting them for now going on 13 years. So I've kind of gotten accustomed to what I do and don't like on the rifle. So for instance, on this rifle, I wanted to get a stainless steel barrel. However, with the problem with getting parts nowadays, I couldn't get the stainless steel barrel that I actually wanted. I wanted a Rock River barrel. As if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you've seen me shoot my Rock River guns and they're very accurate. The purpose of this build was to make the world's most accurate AR-15. Building my own components. Let's just say, let's hold that for the end of the video, because that was the original title. And as if you notice now, it's not the title anymore. So I got a Criterion stainless steel barrel, which was supposed to be just as good. The furniture that I put on it, I didn't particularly want this color, but it was the color that was available, so I got that. I got the rail that I wanted, not the color that I want. And originally had it to go on an Aero Precision lower with a BCM upper. And I did not want to stake my castle nut on here on the first time, so I bought this PWS enhanced buffer tube, which went on really easy. So in general, you can get what you want when you put your own gun together. Otherwise, you buy it from the store and you then generally end up swapping out parts for parts that you like. I think the best thing, the other good thing about building your own AR was it really gave me a sense of accomplishment. I have never used a torque wrench in my life. And to assemble the barrel, you need to use a torque wrench and apply the torque properly, which I was able to do, I think. And with the BCM upper that you have here, it also requires that you heat up the threads here to get the barrel to go in, because the barrel will not go into your upper receiver without expanding this opening. They purposely make it undersized so that you can get a tight fit with your barrel with your upper. And I had never used any type of gas before, so this was a first time experiencing this for me. Heating up the outside of the receiver, I was able to get the barrel into the upper receiver with relative ease. I actually built two, and we'll get to the second one too, which also has a BCM upper. And this one went on, the barrel went on a little easier than this one. So the sense of accomplishment I got was awesome to get this done. You see so many people do it, and I probably waited longer than I should because I didn't have the confidence that I could do it. And so I'm certainly glad that I went out and tried to learn something new and was able to accomplish it. You really do, another good thing about building your own AR-15 is you really realize what's important on the rifle, such as the gas blocks. There's different kinds of gas blocks. There's this Daniel Defense gas block, which goes on your barrel, and these are all free-floated hand guards. And it has screws that go in here below the gas block and underneath the barrel. Does not touch the barrel. Interestingly enough, Daniel Defense, I had to call them to get the torque specs for the screws, which they gave me, but they interestingly said use blue Loctite, which a lot of people won't recommend because it's right, the gas block's the hottest part of the gun, and blue Loctite will break down. Generally, people say use Rockset or red Loctite, both of which I didn't use, because I did use a Geissele gas block on these two builds. And while it differs in how it attaches to the barrel, it actually has in the bottom here a place for set screws to go in, and those screws go up into the barrel and touch the barrel. And it also has a hole here on the side of the gas block where you can actually push a pin through here, and it pins the gas block to the barrel, which is what I decided to do. And since I wasn't capable of doing that, I sent that out to a gunsmith to do that. So one of the other things when doing your own build is you have to know your limitations, and that was my limitation. Other than the gas block, I put everything else together. Again, you learn a lot. I learned that when people send you parts, this is a Young's National Match bolt carrier group in this rifle. And when they sent this to me in the bolt carrier group, the firing pin wasn't actually long enough to initiate the primer. I got a light primer strike on some military ammunition, which I was able to determine by this little tool sold by Brunel's, which you scrape across the front of your bolt face, and it'll tell you whether your firing pin is sticking out long enough to initiate primers. It actually failed that test, so I replaced the firing pin with one that was long enough and didn't have any problems. So the other good thing about this was the function of the guns beyond that worked flawlessly. With the two uppers that I put together, I put together another upper, but that's a different story. They worked flawlessly. I didn't have any functional issues. Now, originally, on this build, I was going to put an Aero Precision lower. I have a Rock River lower on it because the other thing I learned is that these aren't really like Lego sets. You can't just buy parts here and parts there and put them together and they're all going to fit perfectly. They may say all these parts are mil spec, but mil spec doesn't mean quality. That's just kind of an aspirational goal that they try to create. And it really depends on the quality control of the company whether their part meets a mil spec standard. So for instance, on the Aero Precision, the holes right here for the hammer and the trigger were slightly undersized, so I could not get the trigger pins into the gun, which I was going to put a Geissele trigger on, and they were slightly larger. These hole pins are supposed to be 0.156 inches. Well, these were 0.155, and my Geissele trigger pins were 0.1555, which was slightly bigger than the size of the hole, so I could not use the Aero Precision lower. I had to swap out this Rock River lower. I also learned in investigating this that you can buy smaller pin sizes like these two Colt pins that I bought that are generally at a 0.154. They're just a little smaller and they'll fit in most receivers. However, upon further examination, these pins were not compliant with my Geissele trigger, so I could not use those. So that's one of the things that you learn as you go about this building process. You learn how everything functions. I think if I had a problem with the gun, I could more easily identify what the problem is and solve the problem because I put the gun together myself. So let's go over the bad of the gun. Well, I built this gun for extreme precision, and I'll stop right there and tell you that I built this gun kind of as a do-all gun, and with the same, it's got a Criterion barrel in it as well, but it's a chrome lined barrel. And in testing that I initially did just to see how accurate the gun was, this do-it-all gun, I was able to get a 0.6 inch group, which I was, or a 0.75, I'm sorry, 0.75 inch group or so, which I was really happy with. And then I let it sit for a while, shot it a month or two later, and was able to get 2 1-inch groups. So I was just really happy with how this gun turned out. This gun, on the other hand, I ran every kind of ammo through it I could, and the best group that I could get was 1 1/4 inches. And the other groups were, no kidding, between at least 1.75 and 3 inches. So for a gun that I built specifically to be a tack driver, it is far from a tack driver. So I guess the journey with this gun is to keep learning and to figure out how I can make this gun more accurate. I don't know if I didn't get it put together good with the barrel and the receiver. I don't know if it's the flash hider that's throwing it off. And yes, a flash hider or compensator can do that. I installed this SJC compensator on a AR-15 that I had, and the gun shot right around an inch group before the compensator was added. After the compensator was added, it shot 2.5 inch groups. I took it right back off. The groups went down to 1 inch right away. So I'm kind of at a loss as to why this gun turned out so bad, and running various kinds of 77 grain, 75 grain, 68 grain, 69 grain match ammo through it, and it just shot really all over the place. So if you know or have a suggestion for me as to what I can do to tear this thing apart and to put it back together and get it to shoot really good, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are regarding the issues that I had. So the answer, was it worth it to build my own AR-15? And the answer is, it definitely was. There was some good, there was some bad in it with parts not fitting, and then there was some really ugly at the end because of my expectations for this gun and just being frustrated with regard to the results. Although I am very happy overall with getting through the process and completing the projects. For more videos on the AR-15, including long-range shooting, please check out my channel. God bless and guide America. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.